I'll leave at like 9:45 or so.
Okay, we're just gonna
How you
try to
doing?
get through everything that requires a vote. Ready? Okay, so this is the DDD Design Committee meeting. It's Thursday, April 7, 2022, 9 a.m. Will you call the roll, please?
Chris Bigston, Sarah Bennett,
Here.
Roy Dufresh, Tom Storius,
Here.
Kathy Reagan,
Here.
Jeffrey Smith, Pierre Terrio.
Okay, our first item of business is approval of the minutes from March 3rd, 2022. So those are in your packet along with the next item, which is the March 31 minutes.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes from March 3rd.
Second.
Chris Bigston, Sarah Bennett,
Yes.
Roy Dufresh, Tom Storius,
Yes.
Kathy Reagan,
Yes.
Jeffrey Smith, Pierre Terrio.
Yes.
And our next item is approval of the minutes from the special meeting on March 31st.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Here.
Chris Bigston, Sarah Bennett,
Yes.
Roy Dufresh, Tom Storius,
Yes.
Kathy Reagan,
Yes.
Jeffrey Smith, Pierre Terrio. Yeah, if you were present.
Okay, so new business. First item is the architectural review of 412 West Thomas. So that is Eddie's Frozen Custard. So repainting the building, the sign, and the storage building.
Come up, maybe explain what you're doing.
Hi, Morgan McGee, owner of Eddie's Frozen Custard. Pretty much just wanting to, the building's just needs another coat of paint, and I wanted to change it from the white and royal blue that it has been for a while, and go to a light gray and a navy blue. Just a little bit more modern, but nothing too crazy moving forward. Just that white building, especially with pollen and dirt and stuff, it's really hard to keep clean. I think the gray would kind of help that.
So you're saying everything that's white will be gray and everything that is blue will be navy?
Just kind of revamping, moving forward. If y'all don't know, I bought my dad out in June so he could retire.
You don't look like
And so, you know, we've been open 15. I want to take it another 15.
Good, good.
Cool. So this is just for review. You haven't done, you're not doing the grant yet. I guess you gotta do that after he does it.
Right, so it's a reimbursement, so if he, I told him he was eligible for it, and if he wanted to pursue that, we would do that post.
And this is not in the historic district. No.
I think it's outside
I'll
of
move
it.
to approve it.
Chris Bigston, Sarah Bennett,
Yes.
Roy Dufresh, Tom Storius, Kathy Reagan,
Yes.
Jeffrey Smith, Pierre Terrio.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next item is presentation and discussion of the 300 block of Southwest Railroad Parking Mall. Bid document and proposed changes. Webb, that's you.
I'm sorry you don't have it on your screen. I've been working all week to get it for this meeting.
And we appreciate it.
Yes. So we had done a drawing from Park Mall next to K Street TV.
Yeah.
Jeffrey made some notes on it. And we've addressed all of his notes. There is one note about removing the power pole. That is not, they were not removing the power pole. Drive by, you see that's a street light on it. It's halfway in the block. This power comes
Only
over
lighting
the
around.
tracks, and it has
just, it only has the light? Is that all it's, doing is the light?
So that, I think what you're asking is that wire only serving the light?
Yeah,
Or is it
the
just,
poles,
yeah?
yeah.
Okay.
Yes. The power runs from like across from our office towards K Street, and then
Yeah.
it runs south.
Man, I wish we could do some better lighting along that whole thing.
Well, I think
That's
that's,
not
I
a-
thought Lacey was coming.
Yeah, that may be in the next phase or something.
Trees and lights, they were just trying to get the parking lot, it's
Yeah,
already
it's
been
already in it.
released.
I got you.
They were trying to get it done, now there's a little
Okay.
issue, CN that Lacey's dealing with, getting a lease on it, because I think part of the property, they still own.
Okay.
How many spaces do you get? I hadn't counted them or see it, but pretty good amount. I was just wondering, there's so many islands, but that's okay too, but
Yeah, islands are good.
islands are good for trees. So.
See,
Well,
Chuck had it
Or
kind
he's
of
doing trees in between.
doing like this to get the driveways lined up. Jeffrey wanted it straight, and then that made this driveway, so this is where your, this is your park, I mean, your crossing,
Park
yeah,
thing.
crossing.
Looks good.
And we
Be
moved,
easier to-
Jeffrey thought these were
Easier to
lights.
stake.
Right.
These
You
aren't
told me
lights,
about that.
these are hose bibs, but we did move them to the islands.
Okay.
So those all, that'll be the, just like the city goes and does the temporary hose bibs all the time, they'll have them permanent
Okay.
for whenever they have events.
So we'll still be able to put
barbecue blue.
trees in the islands?
Yes.
Chuck had said something about not being able to put trees in the islands because of the hose bibs.
Well, the way the hose bibs
And I
were
may have
before, right?
misunderstood.
Because the bibs were way up in, right in the middle of.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, so now they're pulled
They're
back?
pulling them
Moving
back.
back, yeah.
Okay,
I don't see why
okay.
you couldn't
No,
now.
yeah.
Maybe that's,
Yeah, now
maybe
you
that was
can.
from the earlier. Okay,
And I know Jeffrey said something about sidewalk lighting or something, I think Lacey said, oh, we're just trying to get the parking lot done.
Okay.
okay.
All right.
Well,
So
that's something
Mayor Pete
that,
came and
that
got
the
Chuck to make the
DDD
changes.
will have to
Yeah, and I appreciate y'all making the changes. This is good.
weigh in financially
Open
onto
communication on
Right,
is
but-
the
Yeah.
sidewalk lighting and the trees.
So we can view this as
Was
like
the
a
first
phase
part of what you
one.
said?
Pretty
We'll
much.
have to weigh in financially on the,
We'll make it pretty.
on making it pretty, yeah.
We just like the asphalt.
Looks good to me. Do we need to take action on this, or what? We gotta approve it?
I think we should approve it.
Okay.
I think we should have a motion
Just
to
get a document
approve.
of it.
Yeah,
I'll move to approve.
I'll second, yeah. Good.
got that?
When are they looking to start it?
It bids
Or
April
bids?
19th.
19th, okay, because
As
it's,
long as it's not pushed back. The CN issue may push it a little bit.
really? Yeah,
I don't think it's a problem. They got a response
yeah,
from Bill,
whoever it is,
whatever his name is.
they changed
They
it
got a
2 years.
response, and so now it's just, he was okay with it. He had some signs telling people to go cross at the crossings.
Yeah,
I think he wanted to add 2 signs, and that's it. Oh, and Jeffrey also wanted to add conduits. We added those underneath the driveways.
do they have to,
Send me a digital copy of that.
Yes, I will.
Thank
have
you
flag
very
men out there and
much.
everything?
Appreciate it.
Do they have to have flag men out, or is
When
that
they do this?
when they're doing that kind of thing? Nah,
Not
probably
for
not,
this, I
because
don't
you're not within that 25 foot.
Nothing's going within 25 feet.
Yeah, that's true.
Let me do this though really quick. So, Pierre was first and then Tom second.
Mhm.
Yes.
Chris Bigton,
There goes Lacey.
Tara Bennett,
Yes.
Roy Dufresh, Tom Astorius,
Yes.
Cassie Reagan,
Yes.
Jeffrey Smith, Pierre Carrier.
Yes.
Check this out.
Anything else?
No, thank you so much.
Thanks, Wes. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Lacey.
Lacey, you can talk about the phase
Stay
2
for the
of it if you
mural?
want. Did you have like a phase 2 discussion that you wanted to talk about the parking lot? Like lighting and trees and whatever?
What we had always envisioned, we know that this, and I don't know what all Webb said, and I'm sorry I'm late, I just got out of another meeting, so, basically, this is very simple, cut and dry. We're trying to get pavement on the ground.
Yeah.
It's already turning into a little bit more
With CN?
correct, which is kind of what we thought might happen, but we were hoping we could
Yeah.
move quickly. I don't know that that's going to work out, so we'll see where it goes. The bids are going to come in. All this is pavement on the ground. It does allow for all the additional accoutrements, if we would like to call them, because that's our vision anyway. There has been several discussions already. I know way back when we did the first installment of the lighting, we have always talked about continuing that to this termination point. And so that is considered in the design so that there's enough space and that those, the conduit and everything else that we might need or at least kind of work around would be included. So the other side is all the landscaping issues. Whitney has already been kind of talking about that, and we've already been trying to replace, I guess I'll just mention this as well while we're talking, some of the trees that have come out in downtown, either due to the storm or due to contractors, you know, in and around working. She has some new hollies that are going out to try to get all of those spots at least full. And then we really want to talk about this space in terms of landscaping and in terms of kind of the first point of entry into downtown. The other considerations, so that's landscaping and lighting kind of in a nutshell. Lighting on our parking lots always goes up after the pavement, and we didn't want to combine it all together. Part of what we've been trying to do in bidding our projects is separate out as much as possible, not to change the bid rules because they're all still being bid, but to get better pricing. What we found is that when we have the more complex projects, whether it's like a park installation where there's kind of lots of different things going on, if we can focus kind of the pieces that make sense together, we're getting better pricing. And so we're still having contractors come in, but they may do a slice of the project rather than having a GC do the whole of it. And so we're getting more bids in and better pricing if we kind of focus on what
No,
they can
you're
do.
right. That makes sense.
The other aspect that we've looked at and kind of just tossed around, and I don't know if money is going to be appropriated into the budget for this coming year or not, but we're trying to get some quotes to see if we can push it kind of forward. That corner that would be on the east side across Coleman, where the two poles hang and where the banners get hung.
Right across it, yeah.
We have talked about, and
Jeffers.
Mayor Pete wanted to do this a couple years back, and then we kind of pulled it from the budget last. And but putting a permanent, nice gateway sign
Some
there
kind of vertical.
that could still have a digital, you know, board with announcements and with, you know, upcoming events and those kinds of things, but would be an attractive, almost kind of a public art piece, but a gateway sign that's something, you know, more than just the two poles. So we consider that kind of almost a phase 3 of this project. Phase 2 is kind of looking at that parking area itself, and then phase 3 would be looking across the street and saying, okay, what do we do for really having a nice welcome to Hammond spot here?
Yeah.
So when we'll be positive CN issue is resolved
Correct.
and this moves forward, then you guys will get with the board or the committee, so we can talk about
Absolutely.
our part in it.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
because we'll need to budget money for that for this next fiscal year,
What
right?
you're doing right now being funded, right? Is it a partnership?
City's going to take all of it.
Okay. Jeffrey was under the impression that it was a third. It's not.
Ideally, that would be great,
Yeah.
but we know where the DDD is
Yeah, I'm
after,
not on the board
you know, doing a
anymore,
lot of
so-
improvements in terms of Railroad Park and in terms of the feed and seed property. And so I think this is an area where, and again, all of it, y'all know, I keep looking over here because I know you know what bids are coming in like. All of it's going to depend on
How it comes
where
in.
the costs come in. So,
Okay.
and how we proceed. But that's our vision. We did not intend to hop, skip, and jump quickly and bypass. Your input is often far more valuable on those things that matter about aesthetics and about the overall design and about creating that public space that's a knockout wild moment for coming into Hammond. So stay tuned. We'll see. See how that pricing comes in.
April 19th.
April 19th.
Yes. Yep. Unless there's some sort of extension. And again, some of that may depend on kind of our conversation with CN at this point. But I think most likely we'll still take in the bids, and then depending on how all that goes,
Yeah.
determine whether we can make an award or not, or whether, you know, the budget's completely blown. At least this way, we at least get some initial pricing and kind of know where we're standing.
Just so we're clear, the plan that Webb presented, is that added as an addendum?
An addendum, yes. Yeah.
Cool.
So, thank
Thank
y'all.
you.
Thank
you,
you for being
Lacey.
here and serving on the committee.
All right, so our final issue is presentation and discussion of Railroad Park mural concepts.
Okay, that's all right.
But we are streaming on YouTube. There's 2 people watching. I think I'm one of them. And you have the final selections in front of you, the big A and the big B. We can take a look at A first, if you'd like.
Okay, so the difference between those
I think it's just which side the train is on.
and the little depot, that, B has part of the depot in that.
Yeah.
And the tree has a little more forward. No, it's about the same. Tell you one thing I really like is the concept of just looking down Thomas Street
Yeah.
and just, making that part of the composition on both sides. Me personally, I'd love to see the train kind of being something that just sort of comes right down the middle, just fades in, but that's just a personal thing.
Well, it has to do partially where the letters are too, because if it was in the middle, you wouldn't see that
For
much.
some visual effects.
Well, it could be coming up from the ground or
go
something.
ahead and
Oh, I see
create
what you're saying.
This kind of rendering, so you can kind of see what it would look like with the letters. Obviously, she's using.
That is kinda
pictures
cool,
of the
actually.
letters, not unpainted.
That is really cool.
But, this is
should be
concept A on the full wall, and then this is concept B on the full wall.
That really helps. Man, it really changes it. Of course, it'll change as you walk by or drive by.
So are we supposed to pick a
supposed to pick
favorite
one.
today? Because this goes out to the public
Right.
for they get to actually select, right?
So if there are any minor tweaks or changes that the committee would like to see, I also will circulate it to the board. And if there's any just minor changes that we'd like to see, Britt is totally okay with doing those. But these are the 2 concepts that would be going out towards public vote, starting tomorrow.
Can you keep kind of flip back and forth? Okay, so that's that with the Hammond letters in front, like
Yeah,
you had.
so
Kind of go back and forth.
this is A and this is B.
Go back to A. It's neat because the letters sort of start to frame different individual images, like cat face, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's the middle. Go back. And you kind of lose.
I think my only question is, and I can't remember if we talked about this as being part of the direction, but how sketchy the center is. Did we ask her to do that, or? Well, it's just sort of just lines, it's not, I don't know.
I think we asked her to put the oak in the center.
Yeah, I
But
know
not
that.
how it was stylized.
I don't think yeah. I mean, there are some other, do you like it better on, he has 2 other ways.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how that's gonna be drawn in real life.
So what she does is she has a projector, and she projects the image onto the
Like
wall.
arteries.
And then she uses gel, she traces that, and then she uses a combination of paint and a paintbrush, and then also spray paint to add texture and other detail.
So we could ask her to make it not quite as abstract as this one, previous one on A, but not as literal as she is in her final 2. Somewhere in the middle, something a little
Yeah,
less.
it's just-
I think it's
You're
more
just thinking more of the
detailed
roots.
than
Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, could it be just a little more of a pattern on this, or would that take away from the buildings on the street part? I mean, I like the oak tree itself, the way with their pin work.
Do you think,
Yeah,
something more like what she has on the last page for concept B at the bottom?
Let me flip to
You mean the way the trees and stuff are drawn?
Yeah,
The way this tree is.
Yeah, like
The way it's kind of it's a kind of a shadow.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's
What
not
are you
as
looking at?
sketchy.
The,
the first one
Second.
under
Yeah.
previous concepts on B.
Yeah, it might be nice if you did, I don't know how she's gonna do that again, but yeah, if you had more of the real image
Mhm.
behind it, see if it's all paint, so how do you do that? I do it with Photoshop all day long.
I do think that it could benefit from, I mean, obviously, with how the letters and the composition are, most of the I's, what you see above the letters, where the two M's and the O are, it's just kind of a sky.
Mhm.
So maybe if the oak tree were kind of a bit more abstract in the way it's like,
Just a,
kind of, you know,
Mhm.
a bit more like taking up some space, so it would look less awkward and like, just,
I think more like this.
yeah, something like that, so it takes up a
Yeah.
bit
Just
more
like
space at the top, like,
regular
that would make it
paper
look
and
less.
stuff, and it's just a little bit more.
So let's
I don't want
ask her to
proof.
kind of do something a little more like that and that, for that tree instead of, and Peter's right, it is sketchy. It's very pen and ink looking, and nothing
Yeah.
else is.
But I like the scale of the one in A, but I like the abstract of the one in B.
Mhm.
So like, you see what I'm saying, Cassie? So it's not as tall, bring it scale down, but just keep it like abstract.
Yeah, because didn't we kind of, wasn't there something about the scale of the tree before that we,
I missed that meeting.
Yeah, I think so.
So I missed that.
I think Cassie said probably what I was thinking, is that it was just too pen and ink.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you mentioned
Less painting.
And I think with the, you know, it would be more of that, I'm gonna call it blur to match some of the sky and the flower, you know, just that blur.
So do we have to pick and vote on one of these, or just give
No, I'll
comments?
just, whatever comments you have, I'll
Okay.
give to her, and, you know, whatever.
I think her,
we can
yeah, her
do.
composition and all is fine, and the placement of the various pieces, I think we're just asking for less pen and ink, less of a pen and ink drawing style, and more of a,
Just for the tree though, right?
well, for all of us.
Oh, really? Kathleen is, I think what her concept is, in the distance, it's more detailed, and as it moves forward, it starts to blur. You notice that? So you kind of got detailed in the center, and as it branches through the buildings, it starts to fade in. That's what I'm seeing.
Looks good. Is that it?
I think
Well,
that's,
any other comments?
do you have any public comment?
Not at this moment. We do have one like on YouTube. We have 3 people watching. Now is the time for public comment, if you'd like to comment on YouTube.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
All right, anybody have anything else? Then I move that we adjourn.
A second.
I don't really know
Aye.
how to adjourn a meeting officially.
That's it.
Are we off?
Hang on 1 minute.
Okay. I just want to